Hey guys, PGA Tour coach Randy Joyner here with this week's Champions Corner. We're actually talking about two events this week. They had an opposite field event in Puerto Rico, which we'll get to in a second. But first we're going to talk about Russell Henley winning the Arnold Palmer Invitational this past weekend. 11 under par, shot 70 on Sunday. As anyone that watched the tournament, he had a hole out chip in on hole 16. If that thing didn't hit the pin, who knows where it's going to end up, but that's part of golf. We want to talk about what he did to commit to that shot, and that's what I want you to realize is how you commit to these short shots, and it all has to do with the landing area. So let's talk about that. Okay, so Russell Henley chipped in on 16 on Sunday in the final round on his way to winning the Arnold Palmer Invitational. One of the things that you need to work on in your short game, as Russell does, is committing to a shot. Now, as we talked about, that ball was kind of racing across the green if it had missed the flag stick, but he made it and it went in because he committed to a shot. So if you look, I have a towel on the ground over there, and what I'm always doing is I'm trying to commit to a landing area. I don't call it a spot, I call it an area. So it can be 3 or 4 feet that I'm just trying to land the ball in. So that's more important than thinking anything mechanical when you're on the golf course. So I'm going to look at that towel. I'm going to land it on the towel. If you do that, commit to a shot. Take a towel or something, lay it on the green, and try to land it there, and then see how the rollout works. If you do that, your short game is going to get much better. You might even hole some, as Russell Henley did this past weekend. All right, so the second part of Russell Henley's win at the Arnold Palmer Invitational, speaking of commitment, he had about a 3-footer to win the tournament, to close it out and get that one-shot victory over Colin Morikawa. What Russell does, you'll see a lot of the guys do, is they use a line on their ball. So what Russell did is he obviously lined that up, 3-footer. There wasn't a whole lot of break in that putt on the back right corner of that green, but he committed to it. So when you're using a line, if you're a player that uses a line, I personally don't use a line on the ball, but if you do, once you set that line, you are now committed to every putt as being a straight putt. So what you're going to do is you're going to commit to that line, you're going to roll through that line and knock the ball in the hole. That's what Russell did. There's two things he did. With that chip shot on 16, that 3-foot putt to win the tournament, it's about commitment. So commit to whatever you're doing, you're going to shoot lower scores. All right, so while we're on the putting green, we're going to talk about the second event that was held on the PGA Tour this weekend, the Puerto Rico Open. That was won by Carl Phillips. It was Carl's first PGA Tour victory. Shot 8 under on Sunday for a 26 under total. Great golf course down there. The Grand Reserve Golf Course in Puerto Rico is awesome. Spent a lot of years down there at that event, so it's really fun. But what Carl did, we're going to give you two things that Carl did. We're standing here on the putting green, so Carl did something really cool with his putting that I want to show you that a lot of people don't think about. So here's what Carl did with his putting that allowed him to win the Puerto Rico Open this past weekend. What many of you do is, I call it chasing the ball with your chest. You'll move your body, you're trying to almost wish the ball into the hole, you're trying to see where the ball's going to go in or not. I'm not a big fan of keeping your head down, but I am a big fan of keeping your body quiet. And if you watch Carl Phillips putt, he's very good at keeping his body very quiet. Here's something else. He's very square with his feet. You'll see a lot of putters that are just, their feet are indifferent. He's very square. Now, you don't have to be square, but it just keeps him all together, keeps him quiet. And a quiet body is a great key to good putting. So Carl would get in, his posture was very normal, but as he putted, he would keep his body very quiet. And he never really moved until the ball either stopped rolling or went in the hole. So he held his follow through a long time. That's a great objective for you when you're putting, is hold that follow through until the ball stops rolling. Keep your body quiet. It's a lot like shooting a free throw in basketball. If you do that, you're going to make a lot of these 4, 5, 6, 8 footers. All right, so here's the second thing that Carl Phillips did that I think can help your golf game in his win in the Puerto Rico Open this past weekend. Also a tailor-made staffer, so it was good to see him win his first PGA Tour event. It's these 3/4 shots. We've talked about that in the past, but these 3/4 shots are very important for all you guys. Quit trying to swing your golf clubs and career them and trying to hit an 8-iron 160 like a tour player when you can't possibly do it. Take one more club, make a 3/4 swing. Now what that means is you're just going to take your hands just short of shoulder high to just short of shoulder high. Carl hit several of those on the back 9 on Sunday. It flights the ball down. You can control your distance much better. You'll get way lower scores when you learn to do that. So I'm going to show you what it looks like. The other thing he does, and we talked about this last week with Joe Highsmith, is he really So if he feels like the ball stays on the face for a long time, But again, it's just that little 3/4 shot. You drive through it. You're going to hit some lower flighted, but you can control the spin. You can control the distance. It's a way easier shot. You'll shoot lower scores. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next week as it's Players Championship Week. We look forward to talking about that next week. See you then.